Hey guys, if you guys are wondering, on my lips I have on the Kat Von D liquid lipstick, and this is in the color Love, L.U.V, all in capital letters if you guys are looking for this, and I got this from Sephora. But today I wanted to give you guys an update on my nose piercing. So I'm going to be looking in my phone really quick because I want to show you guys, let you guys know the date that I actually pierced my nose. So I pierced my nose on the 8th of last month, and I think the first update that I did was, I think, 2 weeks ago. It was probably a little bit over 2 weeks ago because I pre-record my videos, so it had to be at least 4 weeks ago since I've actually pierced my nose, and maybe 3 weeks ago since I've actually recorded the update. Recorded my experience and everything like that. So first off, I do want to say that in that video, what I did was, before I did that video, when I actually first got my nose pierced on the 8th, I went home and I checked Google, and they were saying something about you can use salt, or you could use sea salt, and you could use like tea tree oil. Well, I ended up using the regular salt, and it was working for me. It really did not do anything to my nose, but then I was looking at some YouTube videos where other people were saying that that salt didn't really work for them. But for me, from my personal experience, the salt did work for me. But however, I am a type of person, I am kind of paranoid. I really don't want to do anything wrong or necessarily wrong, so I actually went out and I bought some sea salt. I think it's non-oxidized sea salt, and I went out and purchased some sea salt, and that's what I used to clean my nose. But yeah, so just to get that out of the way, because I know maybe people saw that video and probably was like, well, are you supposed to use regular salt? Well, maybe not really, but when I checked Google, it said regular salt, sea salt, and tea tree oil. So that's what I was using. I was using the regular salt, but I guess you're not really supposed to use that. I guess the sea salt is more highly recommended, and the reason why I didn't use the sea salt at first was because I didn't have any, and because I already had salt. When I seen that it said you can use salt, I was just like, okay, that's what I'm gonna use, because I didn't want my nose to be infected because I had just got it done. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way, just get that clarified. It didn't do anything to my nose, but because I wanted to be extra careful because it is a nose piercing, I really stopped using it and just went and bought the sea salt. So if you want to be on the safer side, just purchase some non-oxidized sea salt, and that'll be better for you. So let's see, it's been almost 4 weeks now since I've had my nose pierced. 2 weeks after piercing my nose, it was 2 weeks? No, 3 weeks after piercing my nose, I took the nose piercing out of my nose. Okay, it was almost 3 weeks, I think. So it was like 2 weeks and about 6 days, something like that, because I really try to keep track of it, because I want to wear a different nose ring. I want to wear the hoop for Mother's Day. So about 3 weeks after I pierced my nose, I went ahead and took the nose ring out, which was not the best idea. I actually took it out a few times within that 3rd week. Within the 3rd to 4th week, I took it out a few times. And I took it out and I put in some nose hoops that I got from my local beauty supply store. And then after putting it in my nose, it was really bothering me, and let me tell you why it was bothering me. So first off, I take this one out of my nose and then I put in the hoop. You guys, trying to get a hoop into your nose ring is really, really difficult, especially when the tip is very sharp and it's not really rounded and smooth to really slide in. It was really, really difficult. So it just kept getting stuck inside, and it kept poking and digging in my nose, and it just did not feel good at all. So when I actually got it in there and I left it in there for about a day, the next day, I'm telling you, my nose was hurting me. It felt swollen. I've slept with this nose ring, and my daughter sleeps next to me sometimes, and she's touched my nose before with this in my nose, and it didn't bother me. When I changed my nose ring to that hoop, I don't know if it was the material of it, but I'm telling you guys, it did not work out for me, because she touched my nose that night, and I felt like I was gonna cry. So I actually took it out the next day. I was actually supposed to be going to work that day, so it was driving me nuts. So, well, before I get to the next day, that same day, I took the hoop back out to put this one back in. This was not going in. It was giving me trouble like hell, because it was the way it was twirled, and if you really see it, it's shaped like almost like a question mark. So it's really hard to hook back in your nose. It was driving me crazy. I couldn't get it back in. So I was digging up my nose. And I think that had a lot to do with the fact that not only did I take it out, but it was getting poked constantly. So it started to bleed. When I woke up the next day now, it was like kind of stuck in there. There was a lot of leaking around it. And I mean, my nose didn't get infected, but, you know, I guess with all the poking and the bleeding, when I actually let it stay in my nose, because I couldn't get this one back in, when I woke up the morning, it was kind of like, you know, scab around it almost. And you know when something is healing and then it bleeds and then it leaks or whatever. So that was around my nose. So I cleaned that off and I took it out, and I was like, listen, I don't want to go to work with this hoop in my nose. It's hurting me. I'm getting a headache. And that's another thing. When you change it too early, or when you just dig up your nose, period, when you're digging up that piercing, it really, really hurts. And you start to get a headache and things like that. So I took it out and I put this one back in. However, for me to get it back in, I had to straighten the bottom part and just leave a little part of it hooked. So I just ended up pushing it back in. It went in and I was fine. So now I go to Clears and I see, I went to Clears last week. So it was kind of towards the end of the 3rd week, coming into the 4th week. And I went to Clears and I seen some really cute nose hoops that I wanted to put in my nose. So I went and bought them, and I was like, okay, it's been about a week and since I've had this in. Maybe my nose is healed by now. So I took this out and I put it in. I tried to put in the hoops. They weren't going in properly. They were giving me hecka trouble. They were hard to close. It was just a lot going on, and I just could not get it back into my nose, get the hoop into my nose. So I ended up going out with the hoop in my nose, but when I got back, I just took it out and I had to change it. However, this nose ring got lost, so I could not find it. I looked all over the place and I could not find it. I ended up taking an earring from my daughter's old piercing and put it in my nose to keep my hole open, because I was going to work and I did not want to go to work and not have it in my nose, and my nose would be basically, I would be feeling like it's closing that whole time. So I just put her earring there in my nose. However, I couldn't put the back piece because, you know, that little thing is for a baby's ear, so it only went in to kind of keep the hole open. I came back from work, I ended up finding it, I ended up putting it back in. So my experience for the last couple of weeks, from the time I did it till now, I would say do not change it, because you don't want to get that pain. It really, really hurts, especially when it's not coming, when it's hard to push into your nose. I'll try from the top, I tried from the bottom, it still wasn't working. I noticed that taking out this nose ring and trying to constantly messing with my nose, I found myself getting a little dizzy. So that's another thing that I wanted to point out. I remember watching a YouTube video where this girl was saying that when she got it pierced, she felt a little lightheaded. So they had to lay her down and put like a cloth around her and things like that and give her some water. But I didn't feel that way when I did it. I felt that way, that like not the first time I took it out, but the second time I took it out. So from getting the nose hoops from Claire's, that's when I noticed that like I kept digging it up, and I was really messing with it more than I did that first time I took it out. And I was feeling a little lightheaded. On top of that, I was tired from work. I haven't slept in a couple of days properly. So that could have all contributed to the way I was feeling. But like I said, do not change it. Just keep it in your nose. As far as the healing process goes, my nose is fine. My nose isn't giving me any trouble. It doesn't give me any trouble unless I go and mess with it by taking it out and using other rings to dig up my nose. But other than that, it doesn't bother me. It does not give me any headaches on its own. I really don't have no issue. Once this is in my nose, I feel fine. In the beginning, it used to sink into my nose a lot, and I know that right now you guys can see it much better than you could have the first time. That's because it's not sinking down in my nose anymore. It's not, you know, going down as when I'm sleeping and I'm having to push it up. I don't have to do that anymore. So that's how I know that it's healing. I'm not getting any leaking anymore. Like I said, unless I poke it with the hoop, I don't get any issues with my nose ring. I do, however, try to clean it with the sea salt, but I've cut way down on the times that I clean it now, especially being that, you know, I want it to kind of heal naturally, and I want it to kind of do what it's supposed to do. So I don't use the sea salt like I used to. So yeah, I just try to let it heal on its own. What else did I want to tell you guys? I would recommend that until your nose is fully healed, like completely healed to a point where you can push a nose ring in there and you don't get any like bleeding or anything like that, until it's completely healed, I would not recommend buying any nose rings from a Claire's or from a beauty supply store, only because you want to buy a nose hoop or ring that is actually supposed to be the best material for your nose, especially when it's newly pierced. So like how I want to wear the nose hoop for Mother's Day, and Mother's Day is in the next week or so, I am going to actually go to the place where I actually got my nose pierced, or maybe another place, and see if I can get a nose hoop that is the same exact material as this one. I don't want to use any other nose hoop that I did buy, but I did get a couple from Claire's, and then I got 2 from the beauty supply store. But I just wouldn't recommend that because the material is different. It's not the same as this, and because it's still kind of fresh, you don't want to use anything else that's going to kind of infect your nose or kind of irritate your nose or anything like that. I would definitely say just leave your nose, just clean it and let it do what it's supposed to do. And if you do decide to change it, at least let it be 4 weeks. Don't let it be 2 weeks like how I did. At least let it be about 4 to 5 weeks, and try to go to you know, where you maybe got it pierced, or a tattoo shop where they have the piercings and selling them there, and get it from there that has, and make sure it's the same material, because it is fresh and it's not all the way healed. It's not like your earring where, you know, you got it done as a baby, and then, you know, as you get older now, you can put pretty much any earring in your ears. Sometimes if the earring is not good, your ear will turn black, but I mean, it's not going to really do too much to your ears because your ears are fully healed. But with a nose piercing now, as with any piercing period, when it's fresh, if you want to change it and you're impatient like how I was, I would wait till 4 to 5 weeks. I wish I waited till at least 5 weeks, but you know what, I'm okay, because you know, once I did it, I would let it be in my nose for maybe a couple hours max. The first time I did it, it was for a day. Not even for a full day. It was more like overnight, because I did it that afternoon, and then I woke up and then I just changed it. So it wasn't even a good 24 hours. So it would be like a good couple hours max. But I would definitely recommend changing it within the 4 to 6 week mark, just to be on the safe side, and make sure that the earring, the nose ring is the same exact material as the one that they use to pierce your nose, because I feel like it feels better and you won't get any irritation, because those materials aren't necessarily made for a nose that was freshly pierced. They're more made for, you know, a nose that was already pierced for about 6 months to a year. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, other than that, I really don't have no issues with my nose. Like I did say, I did feel a little dizzy, and I feel like it was probably because I was really tired and I haven't slept, and then I was actually gonna go to a party right after that. But definitely, I feel like when you really play with it too much, like your nerves and everything, and that's your face and your head, you know what I'm saying? And when you keep trying to irritate that same spot, you can feel a little funny. And I was feeling a little bit funny. So after a while, once I noticed it wasn't going in, I just left it alone in my nose, and I waited till I came home to push something there, just to keep it open. But yeah, that's about it. I love my nose piercing, and I'm extremely happy that it's not sinking down in my nose anymore. Another thing I wanted to say was, when you're washing your face, do not use a wash rag. You know, they have like the little thread pieces. I've washed my face with the wash rag before a couple of times, and it would pull that nose ring not out of my nose, but like halfway, so it will be sticking out of my nose, and it's really painful. So I would definitely say, kind of hand wash your face, or use like a face scrub if you like to exfoliate your skin. And yeah, just don't use a rag, because it will pull the nose ring out. And like I said, when you're applying your makeup, you can just rub over it, and then when you're done, you can push the nose ring up, because it's gonna be makeup over it, of course, and you can just use your finger and wipe it off. Or you can use a little piece of cloth or a piece of tissue and just wipe off the nose ring where the makeup is, so that the makeup isn't covered by the makeup, so that the nose ring isn't covered by the makeup. That's about it. Just make sure you have cotton. Just make sure you have Q-tips and your sea salt. Clean your nose. If you have a mark on your nose ring, you can use tea tree oil to get rid of that mark. The sea salt also helps with that too, but the tea tree oil can help for the mark and to prevent any bumps or any boils in your nose or on your outer nose, because some people do get the bumps on the outside or on the inside. So the tea tree oil definitely helps in preventing that. But yeah, that's about it for this update video. This is what, my three and a half week update. It's almost 4 weeks now, so my 3.5 week update. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to thumbs up this video. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. And yeah, if you guys like more videos like this, comment below. If you guys want to see me do anything, comment below, and I'm going to be reading all the comments to find out what you guys think. So yeah, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!